All right, I got this one DM'd to me, and yes, I'm actually doing a live reaction. Somebody sent this to me. They asked me to take a look at it. This is OhDough's Monkey Paw balancing surges again. Oh man, I can't wait to see what he's got cooked up for us. I can already tell by that thumbnail, this one's going to be maybe a little bit of a hot take, maybe a little bit of controversy in here, but you know, OhDough tends to spit out some really good facts. I'm interested to see what he has to say. So I'm going to do a live reaction to this, and this is my very first one here on the channel, so go easy on me. If you want to help support the channel, you can always hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell. And let's go ahead and see what Mr. Dough has cooked up today.
Arrowhead cannot help themselves but Monkey Paw so many aspects of the game to the point in which it doesn't even make any sense. They want a more difficult experience, one that rivals Elden Ring apparently, but they'll nerf it in ways that are actually engaging and fun. For instance, the recent surges. On February 17th, 2026, they fixed an issue where surge modifiers spawned more enemies than intended. Whoa! Our players are having so much fun against the Hulk surges, Impaler surges, Factory Strider surges, not Charger surges, Devastator surges.
There you go.
I know. Let's go ahead and reduce the spawn rate. Let's just go ahead and reduce how many enemies spawn and we'll just say it's a bug.
This was one that I'm still dumbfounded at what they did, because the original, or I call it the OG version of those Hulk surges, were so much fun. You could plan ahead. That was back when I think we had the grenade launcher at AP4, so you could run the grenade launcher plus a supply pack, plus, you know, whatever you want, recoilless Quasar. You could come out with turrets. This was, you know, pre-durable damage. Actually, I think it was durable damage days, and it was just a lot of fun. When you saw 5 or 6 drop ships coming in, all dropping off Hulks at the same time, that's the peak combat players wanted, because not only was it fun, but it was also challenging, because there was quite a few Hulks coming down and you had to prioritize how to deal with them. Then we got the notice that it was a bug, and Arrowhead went in and changed them up. So now we see like Hulk surges, what we saw originally on 𝗏𝗃 just recently, and also on 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Now they cranked it up to 900%, but even at that, it's not the amount of Hulks that we were used to. We would go over and find a detector tower and just have that thing find us and just get dropship after dropship after dropship of Hulks just lining up to get slaughtered. And we would go for the entire 40 minutes, and you would finish, your adrenaline was spiked, everyone was laughing and having a great time. Screw the major order and the objectives. It was just that, and it was so much fun. And then they went in and changed it. But the issue is that, especially with these Hulk surges, is they came in and they removed Hulks and they added in War Striders. And we found out post Into the Untested what happens to this game's performance with War Striders, because they spam attacks, and especially as they rapid fire explosive attacks, and the game engine and the sound engine can't handle it in Helldivers 2. It just gets overwhelmed. So that's the enemy that you don't want to see, because it degrades performance, and yet they throw it in there. Plus it's the most poorly designed automaton. I mean, let's call it what it is. It doesn't have the glowing weak points on the back. It doesn't provide you that kind of counterplay. Yeah, you can go for the hip joint, which they recently added on to AP3, but it slows down combat, and it also, you have to play it in a very specific way. Plus, it really hurts performance. If they wanted to really do this right, and I say them, meaning Arrowhead, remove War Striders completely from these Hulk surges if they do another Hulk surge, and I guarantee you'd see even more players come back and play them. They're that good, but they have to be those OG Hulk surges, not these light versions or sugar-free like some people are calling them.
And even if it's a bug, keep it. Make it a feature, because folks majoritively gave you feedback that those were really fun and engaging. And surges, by the way, gave you a great indication of what you're facing, so you could actually make a build for it. It telegraphed information, and it gave you a crazy experience that they could give you every now and again. Like, I wasn't, like, obviously it'd be cool to have surges a lot, but they kept them away for months, and we just got them, and folks were a little peeved. On that same note with surges, they had to mix them with Jet Brigade. They had to mix them with the Incineration Automatons. So Hulks were Jet Brigade. I love Jet Hulks. What I don't love is War Striders you can't avoid. War Striders on virtually every single mission for Jet Brigade, and also way less Hulks to fight. And then the Devastator Surge with Incineration Automatons, that faction shoots fire bullets. You're encouraged heavily to wear fire resist armor to avoid unnecessary damage. Not great, very limiting, and there's no transmog to pick the fire resist perk and something else, so you're just shoehorned into a boring armor perk for that faction in particular.
Plus, I don't know if OhDough is going to touch on this. A lot of people think that when you're taking on the Conflagration Devastators, that's the heavy dev version of the Ensign Corps, by wearing, if you were to wear an inflammable armor like heavy and flammable, you should be, I guess, impervious to what those devs are shooting out with those fire shotguns, and that's not really the thing that kills you. It's the fact that they pump out so much ballistic damage, and if they happen to get one of those RNG headshots, which they seem to do because they have incredible range and they have incredible accuracy at range, if they tap your head, there's no amount of armor that you can wear in this game that will keep you on your feet. You're just going to die no matter what. So yeah, you pump in a bunch of War Striders plus those Conflagration devs, and it becomes a 1-2 of kind of a miserable time.
But also, they get War Striders on a mission like Raise the Flag, a great one for crazy scenarios on surges beforehand. Now it's a bit dwindled down and pretty boring. But War Striders are just unavoidable on both the recent surges. Meanwhile, folks have been telling the devs relentlessly that War Striders aren't very fun, guys. Maybe don't force it down our throats all the time.
True.
Just food for thought. And going back to November 5th, 2024, reduced enemy spawn rates during the Raise the Flag objective and Spread Democracy missions to make the objective easier to complete.
I remember this one as well. Just like the more recent change, I remember this one. I don't remember anyone complaining that the Raise the Flag missions were too difficult. If anything, at least the people that I spoke to were really enjoying those, because at the time you could just sit there on Raise the Flag and the automaton dropships would just come in, just rapid fire, boom, 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 and they're dropping down so many enemies. And again, that's when this game is peak, when there's lots of shit to shoot at. That's when Helldivers is really cooking. And for some reason, again, the devs went in there and they said, this isn't our vision for it, and they backed it down.
The same developers that are sitting there forcing arbitrary difficulty left and right in the silliest ways possible are going to sit there and nerf the difficulty that's actually meaningful. It does something. Folks are happy to engage with it for the most part. Some
Agreed.
folks will obviously complain. That will always happen. But most players were having fun. You could even tell because there were almost more folks on the Surge for, I think, either Hulks or Devastators than there were on Cyberstan at one point in time.
Doe might have just touched on why the Hulk surges or just surge mechanics were changed in general. There was more people playing surges at one time than there were actually playing the major order or the major story arc, which I think is kind of telling if you're Arrowhead, but maybe he nailed it. Maybe he doesn't know that he nailed it, but maybe, that's a theory. That's a theory. We'll have to see. Did Arrowhead nerf back to surges because more people were enjoying those, and that doesn't match up with the grunt fantasy of, hey, we're out here playing a horde shooter, which we the players know the game as, but apparently the studio doesn't want to know what is that.
Which was a major order. That is the clearest sign folks are enjoying it, and again, in their ultimate wisdom, they go, we'll just nerf it. We'll just nerf it. It's like, dog, who are you listening to? Who is coming up with these silly ideas to Monkey Paw, give folks what they ask for, but it's not what they want?
Who are they listening to, Doe? They're listening to they're getting one-manned. That's who they're listening to. That one person that shouts over everybody and wants the game in a very specific way and changed so that it meets their parameters. But the funny thing is, many times these one guys don't even play the game.
And in this case, what they want is aligns with what you want. Or maybe it's just, I don't want to be this guy that's like making up all these like random alternative motives. It's hard not to, but it's
Make them
frustrating.
up.
This is absurdly frustrating because it hurts the game. It hurts content creators. Hi, name's Doe, I make content. And it just doesn't benefit anyone. Genuinely. I don't know why it's happening. It's been happening for a while now. These are almost 2 years apart. Same stupid freaking changes for no reason that in both cases reduce difficulty and reduce enjoyment. And it's like,
for me, the big one is reduce enjoyment. I know 𝗏𝗏 loves to go out and challenge himself and play the game solo. For me, it's all about enjoyment. I mean, I can get super sweaty. I'm like a closet sweat, if you want to call it that. But I'm in it for the enjoyment. And when things are changed back because of that, and I know this is directly affects a lot of you out there, it really affects the desire to play the game.
It's why do that? And it's just it's just 2 changes, 𝗏𝗏. Why are you complaining? Because it's these 2 changes on top of a plethora of other more stupid, brain devoid changes that I've talked about for the past 2 years that the devs just take forever to even fix. For instance, and I was being nice about it, but we can't fix Dragon Balls bouncing or your Hellpot steering being scuffed until later this year. Yes, you can.
Yeah. I was wondering if he's going to go here too. Of course they can. They can put them back to the way they were, but they just don't want us to. Or at least that's my theory, and I know a lot of people out there agree with me. They don't want us to take the high ground because then, we can slaughter things at a more efficient rate than we're supposed to be able to. We used to be able to land, for everyone that remembers out there, we could land on the side of mountains, on the side of structures, all sorts of things, and you could just stand up there and you could be like sniper Overwatch. You could put your turrets down up there. And then all of a sudden, all of that changed.
You most certainly can. But again, it'll probably be another case of monkey pawing it to where you give folks the fix that they're asking for, but it's not exactly what they're expecting. It's not just what it was, which was fine. What we had before was perfectly fine. What's the big deal? What are folks going to do? We're going to get high ground and toss a stratagem in Narnia that doesn't even have maximum range to begin with. Like, I think most of our turrets have a limited range. So what's the worry that folks get high ground and do stuff? I can't think of many missions in which it would actually hurt the game in a horrible way that folks get ridiculous high ground and can place sentries on crazy high ground. There's already missions that have ridiculous hills that can put a anti-tank emplacement and shoot fabricators for bots.
True.
And if you want to make it so they can't shoot fabricators for bots, just make it so you can't blow them up like a dent from Narnia. Higher difficulty, new fabricators that go back to the old ones where you can't just shoot it with anti-tank like an absolute zucchini and destroy it.
He's making an interesting point there too. In the past, you used to have to you could only hit it with something that was insanely powered, as in a stratagem, or you had to hit it in one of those vents on the top. Now you can, stick it with a 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃. At one point, you could, I think, one tap it with a commando, maybe one tap, I think it was, and then they changed it away, and then it's back. But yeah, you can essentially throw a gamer chair on top, if you can get it on top of some sort of structure. There's certain ways going to cheese the game. You do that, but if you get it up there and you can actually latch onto it and take command of it, you can absolutely demolish an 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗏 mission if you've got line of sight.
To actually hit the freaking vent and break it that way. The reason I'm playing solo in most of the Diet Surge clips is group gameplay for it is simply not engaging. It's not fun. It's just not chaotic at all. It feels like a very slightly improved version of regular group gameplay, to which I just do solo anyway because that's more challenging. But the original Surges, I played in a group for virtually every single one because it was that chaotic. Being in a group meant more spawns. And
Agreed.
Fun fact, doing that makes me want to play in a group. I enjoy that kind of chaos, and it seemed as though there's nothing my team could do in most cases to quell the chaos, which meant that I could pop off more. And yes, it's fun to carry the team if you can, and during Hulk Surges, I lost a fair bit because I kept using more skillful loadouts like AMR over the C4. Real quick though, if you guys like the hats, OhDough.com, more OhDough merch, my brother makes hats and whatnot.
What's he got here? Wilbur, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, and Meat Bob sticker pack. Oh baby. 𝗏𝗏, hook me up. You still owe me $20. Let's go, man. You know where to find me.
Not sponsored.
A hat
pay me.
or stickers.
$25 sold for the hats
hat
and free
stickers.
shipping in America. The feedback that Arrowhead acts on is obviously not working. It hasn't been for the past 2 years in the grand scheme of things, because regardless of how many good changes we've had, the negative ones are outweighing them by a pretty alarming amount. And I'm not sure if it's the low sodium subreddit, the official Discord, the feedback forums. It's probably all three, but it's just not doing it, son. It's just...
We've already heard them, and they've already talked about this. You know, Shams Georgiani famously said they go for feedback in their own forums, in their own Discord, and the low-sodium Reddit. It's taking them places.
You're not getting an experience that folks are actually looking forward to. Instead, you're getting people that are now turning into overt doomers. They don't even trust that you have the ability to make good decisions at all. That's the bed you've made for yourself. And this does not help. this only makes it worse because it was such a slam dunk, so simple, and you still muffed it up. Muffed, whatever. I don't get it, man. And it makes me seem like I'm just this person that can never be happy. Meanwhile, I've praised the Factory Strider surges. I even enjoyed the Hulk surges, even though there were some issues. The invisible hitboxes weren't great. Them twisting torsos weren't great, but I saw past it. I tend to look past the bugs consistently, and instead I focus on the intentional choices the devs make. They either improve the game or make it worse. That's what I look at, because that's far more actionable than these things that, happen on accident. And it's getting to the point in which the devs will do things that aren't on accident. They're on purpose. And they're not in the patch notes, and they haven't been. It's been a recurring trend, and people still give them benefit of the doubt.
So far, I don't know, what we're about halfway into his video. He's made a lot of very solid points. He's not on a tirade. He's not going crazy. He's just dropping example after example after example. Oh,
they didn't mean... It's just a bug that chargers recover after charging, and they don't lift their wagon whatsoever, so you can't shoot them in the back. It's just an accident. It just so happens to co-align to essentially align with all the previous changes they make to enemies that don't make any sense, but we'll ignore that. Because of course, accidents happen, guys, even though they've admitted to all these secret nerfs consistently.
Yeah, that's one you can't defend. That was definitely something that changed with the Chargers. They had a much faster turn recovery.
Anyway, here's a rant, because this one apparently wasn't.
Ooh, a rant.
Is it a Berserker surge? Is it a Devastator surge? Or is it a War Strider surge? Like, bro, they mess up the easiest stuff, and it's like, how are you not supposed to get upset at these brain-dead decisions that are just so simple? Like, dog, maybe you take the feedback that War Striders suck so much to play against, and you don't spam them with surges. Raise the Flag almost never has War Striders, but with Incineration Automatons, for some reason it has it. It's just so stupid.
All right, he dropped the hat. He's into it now. I don't know why this isn't slow-mo. I imagine it's going to show how some death beam goes by him and probably kills him that didn't even touch him. Yeah, I mean, 2 years, man. 2 years of these decisions. It's crazy.
Like, they think it's just difficulty. Oh, it's just difficulty. They're pursuing difficulty in the stupidest way possible, and they're reluctant to make changes because they're taking advice from brain-dead idiots. That's what it is. Folks that hide behind the guise of being good and telling folks to get better, so it gives them like some superiority complex whenever they can't even do a morsel of what other folks can in the game itself. Like,
True.
they can't begin to handle difficulty they're asking for in the first place. So they're okay with making the game more annoying to play because they won't experience it. It's stupid. It's brain dead. It is beyond mind numbing, and I don't get it. Like, I'm sitting there just trying to engage with this garbage, and it's like so many changes they make also make the game more annoying. Like my turrets die faster for no fucking reason because sure, we'll just go ahead and increase durable damage because that makes no fucking sense, and we do like we're Arrowhead. We do things that make no sense.
Oh, he's getting going right here. You know, I met 𝗏 in person. Super chill guy. He's actually, he's pretty calm. He's actually very calm, but a little quiet. I've never heard him drop an F-bomb. Never. And there was 2 in 5 seconds.
They Arrowhead stuff. Don't just like quit arrowheading the game for 2 seconds. Make some changes that require brains, like 2 brain cells, just 2, not asking for a lot, 2 brain cells that generate energy to create a cohesive thought that is worth actually pursuing. But like, just stop pushing this garbage in players' faces constantly and calling it difficulty. I'm ragdolled half the fucking game. I'm just trying to have a good time, dude. I swear. And my thing is, if I'm not having a good time and I am pretty good at the game, I get paid to play it. What are other people experiencing? That's what I think about. And at the end of the day, you can make things difficult without making it arbitrarily annoying for no good reason. And instead, you pursue meaningful challenge to a degree in which people enjoy failing. They enjoy losing and they want to get better. And once you get to the end result, that's also fun. Instead, it is ball busting. I'm dragging my nuts across the Saharan desert on 10 miles of broken glass, just fiending for an ounce of enjoyment. And once we get it, the devs take it away. Are you serious? We asked for surges. You give us this bullshit. And every time we get difficulty that actually matters to some capacity, they remove that too. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, the automatons are spawning a little too many drop ships on raise to flag max difficulty. We'll go ahead and reduce it. That's what we wanted.
He just said it right there. That's what we wanted. It's not so much the challenge, right? If you're in a squad of 4, you know, all 4 of you have mics. You're all specced out for the mission. If it's a Hulk surge, you know what's coming. It's not overly difficult. The thing was, though, the chaos and the moment-to-moment combat, especially if you weren't paying attention and all of a sudden you had 5 or 6 Hulks drop down all around you and you had one of those oh shit, you know, clamp the butt cheek moments as you tried to dive away before you got sawed in half. That for 40 minutes was peak. It was peak. And they took it away, and that's what's driving him so nuts.
That's what the folks that have a functioning goddamn brain are asking for. That the difficulty that actually means something. In a horde shooter, nonetheless. And instead of that, which they did that, and they also reduced surges. Surges had a bug that just made it actually fun to play against. We handled that. We wouldn't want you guys to have fun against the fun surges with more enemies in a horde shooter.
Maybe that's the issue. They don't want the game to be known as a horde shooter. Remember, it's a tactical mill sim. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know.
That you can actually know what you're facing. Hulk surge, tons of Hulks. Bring a build for Hulks. Devastators, tons of Devastators. Bring a build for Devastators. It solved tons of problems, was fun to play against, and they still messed it up? Are we serious?
No, it's very serious.
Oh, man. But instead of that, all we get is the annoying enemies shoved down our throats constantly, no matter what.
Worst Riders.
New Hive World, guys. Opens the box. Alpha Commander spam. Rupture Strain garbage initially. So many enemies are just really tanky, or they ragdoll you, or both. Sometimes not fun to play against. It's like, take that feedback. Take that feedback and maybe keep it there, whatever, but let me avoid it a little bit. But it's so hard to avoid because so much of the new content, so much of the new events that are fun to play against, or they should be fun to play against, are intertwined with that garbage. Case in point, the recent surges. Jet Brigade, War Striders. Instant Automatons, War Striders on Raise to Flag map. So no matter what I do, it's just difficult to avoid this garbage that it's just not fun to play against objectively. It's fine to exist to a degree, but not to the point in which I just simply can't ignore it.
That's because Arrowhead tends to associate annoying or just tedious with challenge. That's one of the major issues.
You see the problem?
I do.
I think it's clear as day. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to make video games. All you have to do is have common sense.
Common sense.
But again, maybe it's just the devs listening to the dumbest motherfuckers on planet Earth that are either not good at video games, or they're good, but they're so bad at interpreting what difficulty means that they will just sit there and say that everything is, if it's more difficult, that's all that matters.
I think it's a case of both. People that are not good at the game are being a loud minority and screaming over everyone about how to make the game better, and if you can't handle it, get good. Skill issue. But also, it's a matter of how they're interpreting. Challenge and fun doesn't align with tedious.
And this happens in so many games. Remnant 2, Dauntless, Helldivers 2, and even Far Far West. Oddly enough. Like that.
I'm going to throw in here right now another game that started off like Game Busters. Allow me to take you down memory lane right here with Outriders. How many remember this game? There are so many similarities between what Outriders presented and what the studio did, which by the way was People Can Fly. And I see a lot of these same tendencies which worry the hell out of me between what I saw in Outriders, a game that I loved, that I brought to the channel on a daily basis, and it helped build my channel into what it is today, along with covering The Division and Battlefield back in the day. But this game had it all. It gave you a severe player power fantasy. It combined guns, kind of these funky movements. You had special abilities. There was so much going for it. And then week one came. At the end of week one, People Can Fly came out with this massive and sweeping balance and, quite frankly, nerf patch. They took away a bunch of abilities and changed a bunch of things that players weren't looking for, but it fit their vision. Recognize any of this? And instantly the game went from, I think it had 125,000 concurrent players on Steam alone, week one. Once again, this game wasn't heavily marketed or anything like that, and it just cratered. People Can Fly didn't communicate with their player base. They didn't understand what their player base was looking for. They went through their intermediaries at Square Enix, their publisher. All feedback went through them. I guess it was filtered down. They got the wrong stuff. And this game, which had so much potential, so much so that when it was really cooking and it was allowed to cook, players were instantly asking People Can Fly to make Outriders 2. And instead, it's nowhere. This game is dead, gone. It had a great vision, but I see so many tendencies in what happened here with People Can Fly that I see with Arrowhead, and it really, really worries me.
That's more so like the players, by the way. On that last one, I'm referring to players who consistently justify occasional bad decisions under the guise of it makes the game more challenging, but they'll excuse the degradation of the game's quality of life, the baseline of fun being reduced, and honestly, the difficulty not increasing by that much. That's how it goes. If it makes it more challenging, nothing else matters. But of course it does, and in most cases, the games I've listed, these folks made changes to them that affected all difficulties, not just the highest one. But hey man, we want a difficult game. Focus on fun first. And do not for a second begin to diminish the fun so haphazardly to make it more challenging when folks didn't buy the game for the difficulty to begin with.
Excellent point there. We didn't buy the game for the difficulty. The game has never been overly difficult. The mission design is super simple. It's the chaos. It's the combat. It's mowing down 1,100, 1,200, 2,000 enemies per 40 minutes. That's what Helldivers is. And then it's mixed in with some lore, and you've got the Galactic War when it used to function correctly. That is when this game is operating on all cylinders. It's just purring along. And when you start to mix in these tedious and just mind-numbing experiences like what 𝗏 has been touching on here with Outriders, that severely hampers what this game is able to produce. Because it is so simple. It is so simple. And when you get in the way of that simplicity, that's what really hurts it.
You can make a game challenging, but do so in a meticulous, intelligent manner, which requires effort. It requires thought. We aren't seeing that in some games these days. We're just seeing these stupid changes being made on a whim, and they're just hoping it works out based on the feedback of some Muppets that might be great at the game, but they're bad at understanding it.
This would be a great time to interject. We've been hearing this since Escalation of Freedom. Test servers. Test this stuff out. Get player feedback directly from those tests, not from the surveys over in your home field advantage Discord or the low sodium Reddit or whatever. Actually poll people in game. Do you like this? Do you not like this? I think if you showed them surges that were greatly scaled back with a bunch of war striders, they would have said, hell no, we don't like this. And you could have avoided it.
It is definitely popular to hate Helldivers 2, but I don't make negative videos because of that reason. In fact, they're not good for my channel. When I make these videos and they actually have a good point to them and folks are like, wait a minute, that makes sense. Now they have less reason to watch Helldivers 2 content or to even play the game in the first place. That's not particularly conducive to a channel whose primary focus is gameplay and guides for the game. That, by the way, are way more evergreen. Negative critique videos, for the most part, are not evergreen. They potentially get crazy views initially, but even then, who cares? Because for advertisers, I don't think those folks are excited about negative videos either. I don't know for certain, but the fact of the matter is I have a second channel with 700 subs and I'm posting gameplay videos that are, I would say, ratio-wise, beating my main channel that has 230,000 subs. If I sat here and just posted positive videos all the time, this channel and I would be far more successful. But I just don't have the ability to do so.
I would add in, I would love to be able to cover all the positives with Helldivers. I would love to come on and say, man, this patch, start to finish, Arrowhead effing cooked. I'm pointing out the inconsistencies and I'm pointing out the issues, and I continue to point them out, and I will point them out a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years, however long Helldivers goes, because at the end of this journey, there is a game, there's a franchise, there's a structure to this that really makes sense. It really connects with me. You can tell it connects with 𝗏𝗏 as well as it connects with so many of you out there in the community. It just needs to be guided in the right manner. Like I would really like to be able to just do, like I used to do tons of weapon reviews when I was covering the Division. I would love to be able to do those, but I'm looking forward to that day. Trust me.
Maybe other folks are just blind to the actual issues. That'd be the hope. Otherwise, they're like complacent. They're complicit. I think that's the word. And they're going along with the nonsense. And they essentially put on a facade where they actually don't like the changes, but they'll sit there and tell you everything's fantastic. In my case, I have a hard time doing that. And I've been this way since the game came out.
Ooh.
I loved it up until that very first update where they had hidden changes that made stuff worse. You took more damage, took more headshot damage. Enemies were moving weirdly. Now, those were not conveyed changes in the patch notes. I never said they did that, but they did do that. So I've been very consistent, man. And it sucks.
Yes.
Even with my consistency, now I get lumped into the crowd of folks that don't even have anything meaningful to say. And they're just, the game is terrible. The game will never be good. I'm not saying that. I'm, in fact, offering very simple solutions to make the game good. And in fact, most of the time, it's just, hey, do the thing you were already doing. Don't change it. That's, for Surges, for instance, that is the advice. Do what you did before. Why change it? If you're going to fix it, fix the things that I gave feedback on. The invisible hitboxes for bodies. Maybe make bodies despawn faster. Have it so the Hulks don't do freaking Pilates or Zumba while they're chasing it down. They're being contortionists. Fix those issues.
He makes an excellent point. So many times we just see these really odd, off-the-cuff changes that Arrowhead makes, and you're sitting there wondering, WTF? Like, there was nothing wrong with it. But then when they go in and tinker with it, they take something that wasn't an issue and they make it an issue. That's what becomes very maddening.
As always, I just want the game to be more fun. It is not rocket science, but the devs make it seem so because they are Monkey Paw enthusiasts, and it needs to stop. I promise you, man. Every time they give us a buff, they have to find like a way to also nerf something. Borderline every single time. And that's just weird. Is it a cultural thing? Is it like a Swedish thing? I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know, because I have not actually seen this level of Monkey Paw in any game I've ever played. I've seen ego, and the ego's there, I think, at least, unless it's a cultural thing. Anyway, that's the video, and I just want Helldivers 2 to make better choices. You can make some mistakes here and there, but please stop making the exact same mistakes, which I pointed out at the very start of this video. The two things that are absurdly similar that both lead to less enjoyment. For what? What's the actual gain? When you make changes to the game itself, just ask yourself, will it be better off in the long run? Or are we just doing this to fulfill our own selfish desires? Maybe you're just listening to the wrong people, though. That's the optimistic view.
True.
But we'll see what happens. Thank y'all for your time, and have a good day.
All right, man. A lot of great points here made by our man, OhDough. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down in the video description. Definitely go show this video some love. Go drop a comment over there. Show his channel some support. Maybe pick up a hat and sticker. You know, as I watch it, I don't always agree with OhDough. I don't play the game for the same reason that he does. But at the end of the day, he made some stellar points in there the surge mechanics, the monkey paw balancing, even when things are changed in a direction that players might perceive is conducive to them, is going to make them happy, it's changed in a manner that it doesn't ultimately make them completely happy. There's always an and, an or a but to what Arrowhead does, and it's getting old. I mean, here we are 2 years later. We're just looking for a game that's fun. And when the game is allowed to be fun, when that fun factor comes out with those OG Hulk surges and things like that, that's when this game is cooking. But yeah, excellent points here. I want the game to cook, man. I want it to cook. I don't want it to fail. And people always ask, you know, why do you keep engaging with it? Why do you keep making the videos? That's why. You saw the passion in OhDough. I have that same passion. I want the game to succeed, and I just want it to get better. Anyways, this is where I lean on you. Drop some feedback if you haven't already. Maybe hit subscribe, ring that notifications bell. Also, if you're on mobile, please swipe to hype the video. And before I go, I want to thank all of our awesome channel members. Until the next one, this is 𝐷𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿